This is the video for Mod 11, Lesson 3B, writing equations of circles in standard form. The goal of this section is going to be writing equations in standard form for a circle when it's not already in standard form. So we're going to be using completing the square, which we saw last semester. And the goal is we're going to try to write it so we can easily see our center and our radius. And have that standard form we used in the previous section. Our problems today are going to be in what's called general form, so that you're going to notice there's no parentheses, everything's kind of multiplied out. Sometimes they'll equal 0, sometimes they'll equal a value if it's not in the full general form. And the goal is to make it look like our standard form with the parentheses equaling r squared. So our steps for converting to standard form with completing the square. So our first step we're going to use is we're going to rewrite our terms. So the x's are together, the y's are together, and then we're going to leave blanks for every set of x and all sets y, and then complete the square, and then get the constants to be on the same side. So the first thing is we're going to go ahead and rewrite it. So I have here x squared. I see I have a minus 6x. And then I'm going to leave a blank. And then I have my y's. I have a y squared. I have a minus 2y. And then I'm going to leave another blank. And then I'm also going to go ahead, I see I have minus 4 right here, or a plus 4. And then I'm going to equal 0. All right. One thing we might want to do is, we're going to see we have parentheses that we're going to work with. So I'm going to have my x's, I'm going to have my y's. This minus 4, I could actually move to the other side. I'm not going to end up using it in the complete the square process, so I'm going to move that constant. Now what we end up having here is we're going to go ahead and complete the square. So just a reminder, when we did that in semester 1, we basically take our b value. So in this first one we got negative 6. We divide it by 2. So I'm right over here. So I'm going to do negative 6 divided by 2. I get negative 3. And then I'm going to go ahead and square it. And remember, whenever you square, you get a positive number. So really, to complete the square, I have a 9 I'm doing that I'm going to add to the left. And whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side. So I'm actually going to add the 9 to the other side. So in this part now, if I was to leave myself a little space, if I rewrote this completing the square, this would now be x minus 3 quantity squared. So remember, you're using that half of that b value. That's what goes in the parenthesis. Same thing here. If I take that negative 2, I'm going to take negative 2. I'm going to divide it by 2, get negative 1, and then I'm going to square it and get a positive 1. So whatever I add to the left, I have to add to the right. And then when I rewrite that out, I'm going to write y minus 1 quantity squared, right? So it's half of that value we have. And then on the right-hand side, I already moved my negative 4, but then I have to put it together with the 9 and the 1. So negative 4 plus 9 plus 1 is going to be a positive 6. So this would be my equation. If the question then asks, well, what's the center? You would say that the center is positive 3, 1. So you take the opposite sign. And then my radius is actually the square root of 6, not 6. So a little more than 2. And then this would be my answer. The first example, same thing. With this process, you find the more that you do it, the faster you kind of get at it. So again, I'm grouping my x's together. This one actually worked out nice. They're kind of already grouped. And I'm going to have my set of x's, my y's, I'm going to group together, which they're already happen to be grouped for this example. And then the negative 10's already on a side by itself. So now we're going to go ahead and complete the square. So remember, I have to use my 12, and I have to use my negative 6. So for that 12, I'm going to do 12 divided by 2 is 6. So if I square it, actually I'll move that over here. So I have 12 divided by 2 and I get 6. And then if I square it, I get 36. So I'm going to have a 36 on the left, and then I have to do a 36 on the right. And then for the negative 6, same thing. So I would get a positive 9. So 9 on the left and 9 on the right. Now, if we rewrite it, my first parenthesis, remember you always take half of it, what the b value was, so that's x plus 6 quantity squared. And then this would be plus y minus 3 quantity squared. And then I'm going to put all my constants together. So negative 10 plus 36, that's 26, plus 9 is 35. And then this would now be my equation. And the question asks then to identify the center and the radius. So your center would be negative 6, 3, and my radius would be root 35, or as a decimal, it'd be like 5.9. The last example, again, same thing. We're first going to rewrite it. So I'm going to write my x's together and leave a blank. My y's I'm going to write together, so y squared minus 4y, then leave a blank. I don't have any constants to move, but I do have a 16 already there. And then we're going to go ahead and complete the square. So I'm going to take my positive 8, and then the other equation, or for the other y, I'm going to take my negative 4y. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 4 squared is 16. So I'm going to add 16 to the left and 16 to the right. And then for negative 4, I get negative 2, and I'm going to square it, and I get positive 4. So 4 on the left and 4 on the right. And then when we rewrite it, half of 8 is 4, so x plus 4 quantity squared. And then this would be y minus 2 quantity squared. And then if we go ahead and put our like terms together, we're going to get 36. So this would be our equation. And the question asks for the center. The center would be negative 4, 2. And the radius would be root 36, which we can simplify to be 6. And that would be our answer. If you have questions, make sure you are trying the U-Try problems and then asking for help during class, signing up for T-Bolt time, or getting help in the center.